Hi everybody. Next we are going to discuss about the ARM architecture of memory and IO port, because the ARM architecture, the memory and IO port is very important. Where we stored and where we given the input and where we get the output, that is IO port. That is a very important thing. So it is a main essential of microcontroller, the processing of and handling the information and the execution of the program by using the keys of that is very important. The main thing is speed, volatility and endurance and production. This is the main important process of ARM architecture of IO ports. That's the main important thing. So imagine this is the ARM architecture, how there's a processing of connectivity. We can execute the speed and other peripheral and components we can able to interconnect. Mainly the IO port of memory devices is IO port is mainly the dedicated to hardware address of peripherals, that the main IO port. And the second point is nothing but input and output instruction sets mainly using. Another thing, the example is nothing but a parallel port of the printer. Printer is parallelly we can connect, that's IO port. We can give the print to our system, automatically the printout come to the particular printer. That is called as a main IO port of example. The memory mapped IO port mainly is used for the access of likes of memory unit, and it will identify the memory location where we have, and the common mode, the common in mode of microcontroller where we used. And other thing is the main example is GPO, that is a graphics interface unit. We can map in the address and simplify the architecture with the uniformed of address space. That is the main advantage of memory mapped IO port. What's the main key features of EPROM, that is electrically erasable program reader, read-only memory? What's the main key features where we use and how it will be used? Mainly it is a non-volatile of data retention. So it is a non-volatile memory mainly, and it's a bytes of addressable and erasable. We can able to read and write with capable is possible here. It's the main feature of EEPROM. And high endurance of that, mainly it's 100K to 1 megacycle is possible. That's a high endurance. It's the main thing. Writing of speed and writing applications, so it will be very high speed. And loading of data retention is mainly around 100 years, so it will be a long data retention. That's the main important features of EEPROM. Think of it, it's 100 years of storage information. And where we use the main application, we are using Wi-Fi, and the main contribution is sensor offsets, and it will use for the eye devices and the long devices. And the main example of 82426 IC peripheral devices, EEPROM of the applications and the special settings we can use for the special purpose and the special applications we are using here. Mainly the SRAM is a volatile, is a fast access and the structures and the cost effective. These are the main advantage of SRAMs mainly. That's a static RAM, static random access memory, that is SRAM. So mainly when the data is lost, the power is removed. That's the main drawback of thing. That's a volatile. Before thing is non-volatile. That's the main advantage. That will be stored in 100 years. Okay. The fast access, comparably the previous one, it will be a fast access. Around it will be a 1 to 10 nanoseconds period will be access. Fetching and getting information with 10 nanosecond. Imagine the speed of fetching the information. And structures, it will be 4 to 6 transistor is possible, and no refresh is needed for this main structure. That's the main important thing. Each bits using 4 to 6 transistor at a possible, and no need to refresh. That's a very important thing. And the cost and density, that's a more expensive and low density than the DRAM. That's the main important thing. Of the cost is more expensive comparably the previous one. And also that is L1, L2, L3, and that memory units we are using, and access with the microcontroller in the register manner with the high speed of buffer information we can store in the SRAM. That is the main advantages, main thing of the SRAM. And activity, there's a task one is finding the room temperature. What's the current room temperature? Find the and the display. So imagine this the current room temperature, like what you can using the ARM processor, you can find in the current room temperature. What is the exact room temperature at particular area? And second task, to heating the schedule, and performally to user they perform their heating schedule. How much for particular time period? For this time period is 10 degrees Celsius. Next half an hour is 25 degrees Celsius. Other next half an hour is around 35 degrees Celsius. Likewise, we can go for the performance heating based. That's a task 3. Task 3 is nothing but a sensor data buffer, where we use the temporarily buffer to increase the sensor data of processing, where we use in the real-time application. We are sensing the information and how the buffer we can increasing. And the fourth task is nothing but a to identifying the devices, to uniquely identifying the low power losses where with the particular device identified. That is the activity, today's activity. The next one is a memory protection unit, mainly to enhance the security, system scalability, and durability. That is a debugging. That's the main three important thing. So enhancing security to isolate the software modulation to prevent the unauthorized access. That is enhancing security. So unauthorized person should not access our peripherals. So that is the main thing. And system stability is to prevent the data by occupying the illegal or code execution. That's the main important thing we are using for the system stability. And a debugging aid is a trap of illegal memory access, and with the help of the easier debugging, that's the main important three parameter we are using the memory protection unit. So it will be very useful. The data should be very safer, and not be used for the illegal activities or unauthorized access should be avoided here. That's the main important parameter of the memory unit. So this is the assessment question and answer. This is the answer, the assessment question and answer. And where we use in the conclusion, where EPROM is a static and direct reels we can use, and also the speed and volatility and availability is mainly important thing of the memory type. That is the main important thing. This IO approaches mainly the IO port of the memory of is different for the peripheral communication. That is IO approaches. And MPCU, the main important thing is to MPCU current system is reliability for the security as well as the memory access control. This is the main thing of the IO port. Thank you.